Hello, my name is Haskins, and today I will be presenting my social media platform using social media to advance learning. Our learning objectives are: students will be able to identify if the author of historical fiction novels is using or altering history. Students will be able to research the Vietnamese War and cite evidence to help support their claim. And students will be able to write a claim and support it with factual details with citations. Now, how will we meet our objectives? Students will read Fallen Angels by Walter D. Meyer, use a computer to research the Vietnamese War, use the Diglett app to highlight key information. They will also watch YouTube videos about the Vietnamese War that also highlight more information. Group collaborative mapping of information gathered. They'll develop a claim to support or oppose whether Walter D. Myers used or alters history, and then they'll cite evidence they found via research to support their claim. To understand whether we will meet the goals I have two assessments to show our goals and how they'll be met. Students will be having an evidence and citation worksheet as well as a written/presentation rubric. In the rubric, we have different key concepts that students will need to pay attention to: their content, their eye contact, their volume, their flow. Visual aid for their presentation is also very important because it's not really a written presentation, but it's a visual. So they'll have the visual as well as the content in there being judged. And we also have a citation worksheet that will students will write on to cite the information that they've gathered and where they gathered it from, so that they're citing correctly. How will we use social media to enhance the teaching and our learning experience? I'm going to be using 4 different social media tools. The first one is the Diglett tool, and the Diglett tool is a social bookmarking tool, and students will simply sign into Diglett and view websites, and I will create their groups so that they can view each other's highlights and comments. And I'll show you an example of how students will be able to use this tool. So we're going to go to a website here about the Vietnamese War, and as you see, there's some highlights from a student. Other students can come on, they'll see the highlights, and they can highlight their own stuff. So we'll highlight this right here. And it's just that easy. And the Diglett tool is right here, and it has groups and lists, stuff you can save for later, your sticky notes, your bookmarks, and your highlights. So this tool is very simple for students to understand. Another tool we'll be using is YouTube. YouTube is a video sharing website, and students will be able to gather information from there that supports whether the author alters or was true to history. A lot of these kids already know how to use YouTube. I'll show you how we can use it for my lesson. So they'll go to YouTube and they'll sign in. They'll search the Vietnamese War, and a number of videos will pop up, and they'll be able to look at the videos and gain more information from the videos. After that, students will be put into groups. After they gather the information, they'll be put into groups to brainstorm together, and they'll be using MindMaster. MindMaster will be a new tool for students to use as well. And simply is a online collaborative grouping. So you can so the title there is Walter D. Myers Altering History, and then they'll go in here and they'll brainstorm information that they found. So we're going to type Vietnamese War, and we'll want to copy and paste some information that we found was key in our group. So let's go back to history.com, and let's take in 1945 defeat in World War. Japanese withdrew its forces from Vietnamese. So that seems very important. 1945 is key date. And we're going to go ahead and copy and paste that in here. And then we'll put where we got it from. We got it from history.com. And lastly, the group will be creating a group presentation using Prezi, which is what I'm using right now. And kids kind of know how to use Prezi already. How is technology being used as an online collaborative tool? Working with others in real time over the internet is what online collaborative tools do. The Diglett app, MindMaster are 2 social tools that allow you to do that, as well as Prezi and YouTube allow you to view the same items at the same time. You no longer have to be in the same area to be working together. So why is this important? Because working in a group via the internet makes learning and researching more effective. Whether you're in a computer lab or everyone is at home, students can share ideas and new information at all times with computers, tablets, or even a cell phone. They all work the same. You view it all the same way. So some research that I found to support my tools is group minds, support and idea generations through a collaborative mind mapping tool. On that article, I found active social interactions, negotiations, and social comparisons. The act of being exposed to a high number of ideas and to common ideas enhances the generation of additional ideas. Also on that website, I found collective intelligence undoubtedly favors the advancement and development of knowledge. So basically, working in social interactive groups helps to generate more information and develop deeper thinking and more knowledge, and that's very important. On social bookmarking tools as facilitators of learning and research collaborative process, the DIGO case, I found on that article, by adding each user's contribution, the value of knowledge increases, and in this way, it is possible to learn from others simply by following the itineraries others have marked. So simply by following what other students have highlighted and commented on, students are able to contribute and provide deeper knowledge and more insight on different things. And in my Avoiding the Digital Abyss article, this is more so about YouTube. In the classroom, YouTube provides limitless opportunities to enhance a multitude of lessons. Videos that once had to be found, reserved, checked out, and returned are now available at the click of a mouse. So basically, YouTube has a number of videos, as you saw, and by clicking a mouse, we can have access to all of them. Lastly, using Prezi in higher education, I found that not only is this visually appealing, but it's practical as well. It tends to capture audience interest and present information in a way that is less linear in structure. So before Prezi, it was PowerPoint and how you presented PowerPoint, but now Prezi is like an advanced PowerPoint. It's not just slides moving with animations of stuff fading in and fading out. It's different images, and it just holds people's attention more. Some skills needed is students will need to know how to locate and turn on the Big Group app, research using different search engines in YouTube, how to create a login password for Prezi, YouTube, and MindMaster, how to create a group in MindMaster, and the basic presentations on Prezi. Accessible use policies. Students must know the guidelines of using social tools like YouTube, and teachers have to monitor students because YouTube does have a lot of other things on there, and you just have to make sure that they're using them for educational purposes only. And how will you prepare them for and ensure they practice acceptable use of these tools? Many lessons on each of these social tools would be helpful when students setting up their groups on collaborative social sites like Diglett and MindMaster. So once that they're in their project is already set up and they know how to do it. And things like YouTube and Prezi, students kind of already have background knowledge and use it. So it's just more so using it for educational purposes, but Diglett and MindMaster are something new for students to use, and many lessons on how to use it and tools within it would be very helpful in how they use it in their project. Thank you for watching and listening to my presentation. I also included the references on the research that I found.